Yes guys, Max here, back again with a brand new video. It's another tier list. Today we're ranking every single Nottingham Forest signing since they've returned to the Premier League. I think there's 46 names on this list and I'm not even joking. Obviously they've gone through a few different managers. Steve Cooper's made most of the signings, but obviously now Nuno Espirito Santo is the manager and he's made a few himself as well. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. It's a long one. Actually, I don't know. I might edit it down to be quite short because there is 46 names. Course the tiers are the same as usual. We've got Warra signing, very good signing, jury's out, who, and flop. Starting off with Taiwo Awoniyi, and he's going to go in Warra signing. He came in from the Bundesliga Union Berlin for quite a cheap fee, and he's a Premier League talisman. He scores quite a few goals for Nottingham Forest. He is their star man up front. He is their best striker they've got, and he could do well at maybe a higher up club in the league, maybe at a West Ham. Have I just leaked a little transfer there? Could that happen? I don't know. I think it definitely could. Next up is, I think this is Dominguez. Dominguez is going to go in jury's out. I think he's only played this season. He's not done much, has he? Did he sign from Bologna, I think, in Italy? He's come in. He's all right. I mean, he scored that goal against United. That's what I remember from him. But other than that, that's about it. Gonzalo Montiel. I think he's only on loan, isn't he, from Sevilla? Is he in flop or is it jury out? He's going to go jury's out, but he could have been a flop there. He's going to go jury's out, though. Next one. Genuinely, Nottingham Forest fans might have to help me. I'm not even going to have the players above me because I can't be bothered researching him. I don't know who that is. I really don't. It looks like he's got a Palermo shirt on to me there. Matt Sells is a very good signing. Came in January from Strasbourg, the Belgian goalkeeper. Obviously, Nottingham Forest have had issues with the goalkeepers in the past. They've brought Sells in, and he's a very good signing. He's been quite good, hasn't he, for Nottingham Forest since coming in. He's obviously in and around the Belgium setup as well, so he isn't too bad at all. Sheku Kouyaté, flop. I mean, he has done nothing, really. He's not lived up to the hype he had at Crystal Palace and West Ham, of course. Divock Origi, flop as well, mate. You can go next to Sheku Kouyaté. You've done nothing either. Orel Mangala, I think he's on loan at Lyon at the minute. I don't know if it's a permanent or not, actually, but I think it's a loan. Jury's out anyway. Gustavo Scarpa. You're lucky you're not in who. Again, I remember you because of the hair. If players have crazy hair, I tend to remember the names. It's just a weird thing I have. He's going in flop, though. Felipe, flop as well. I think he's actually leaving Forest on a free, maybe retiring, I've heard. Renan Lodi. Now, was he a very good signing? I mean, I don't know. He only lasted, was it 6 months at Forest? Maybe a year, actually, he lasted. I don't know if he can go in very good signing, you know. He is going to. Forest fans might shoot me for that, but I think he did nail down that left back spot, a lot when he was at the club. I think he's at Marseille now, isn't he? Or has he gone to Saudi? I'm not too sure. Danilo is also a very good signing, brought in from the Brazilian league, I think, maybe around there. I'm not too sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, Forest fans. But he's never, obviously, he could be in Warra sign. I think a few Forest fans might argue that, but I don't think he's a nailed-on starter week in, week out. From what I've seen of him, I think he's a very good player. He's brilliant at breaking up the play just in front of that back line. Andre Santos, flop. I think he was brought in on loan from Chelsea, wasn't he, in the summer? Didn't play. Did he play a minute? I really don't think he did. Ruben Ribeiro, I think that is. Again, he's a flop, only on loan from Sporting anyway. Murillo is going in Warra signing. What a player he is. He's been arguably Forest's player of the season, alongside Morgan Gibbs-White, who we will get onto later. Yeah, he's an absolute animal at the back, isn't he, Murillo? I really like him. Jonjo Shelvey is going in flop as well. I completely forgot Forest signed him. Like, Forest signed some mental... Like, why are they signing Jonjo Shelvey? Jesse Lingard is also going in flop. He wasn't good enough for Nottingham Forest. He didn't live up to his times, obviously. The glimpses he had at United and the brilliant performances he had at West Ham. I thought, on a free going into Nottingham Forest, he would be quite good. He was paid a lot of money. Didn't really perform. And he's now playing in South Korea. Ola Aina, for me, is going in Warra signing. I genuinely do believe that. He was brought in at the start of the season, I think, on a free. from Italy. Was he playing for Torino at the time? He's obviously had a previous loan spell with Fulham in the Premier League where I really liked him as well. Took a liking to him in that season, even though they got relegated. And this season, again, he's really impressed me. I think he can play on both sides of defence, both full-back positions. And I think he has just signed another one-year deal at Forest. So Forest are obviously also seeing the potential he has there. Josh Bowler, flop. I don't think he's played. I think he's just been sent out on multiple loan spells. Callum Hudson-Odoi, very good signing. He's had a very, very good first season at Nottingham Forest. You know what, actually? I'm going to put him up there. I think he's been a brilliant signing for the price he paid. He's going to go in the top tier. Nico Williams, very good signing, I believe. Brought in from Liverpool at the time. He's nailed on pretty much, isn't he, in that right-back position. He can also play on the left as well. Him and Ola Aina can alternate. Harry Toffolo, for me, the jury's out. I don't think he's amazing. He had that great season, didn't he? Was it Huddersfield in the Championship? Was brought in by Nottingham Forest, and he hasn't really done much. He started the odd few game under Nuno when he first came in. Barely played under Steve Cooper. So the jury's out for me. Dean Henderson last season, he was on loan, wasn't he? But he was probably a very good signing last year when he came in. Kept him in games quite a lot. He's obviously now at Crystal Palace this season. Lewis O'Brien is a flop. Another one. He's been sent out on multiple loan spells. I think he also came in from Huddersfield with Harry Toffolo, if I do remember correctly. He's now on loan at Middlesbrough. Yeah, that says a lot, doesn't it? Now, this man I thought was going to be an absolute gem of a signing. Omar Richards. I want to put him in flop, but he's still actually... I know he's going to go in flop. He has to go in flop. Brought in from Bayern Munich, by the way. Bayern Munich. Big Bayern Munich. I don't think I've seen him play in a Nottingham Forest shirt. He's obviously just won the Conference League with Olympiacos. As I'm recording this, they won it about 10 minutes ago. Morgan Gibbs-White is going in Warra signing. Nottingham Forest's best player over the last few years. He is their best player right now. He's probably got a market value roughly of around 40 million. I think that's how much Forest paid for him, though. At the time, people were saying they overspent, etc., etc. But, I don't think he's lived up to the price tag because it was a big sum. £40 million is a massive, massive sum of money. But I think he does have the potential to do it. His creativity is nearly unmatched at this level. He's a phenomenal player. Andrew Omabamidele, jury's out. Not featured all too much for Nottingham Forest this season since being brought in from Norwich. Musa Niakate, very good signing. I do really like him. The thing I remember about him, obviously he's still at the club, is the long throw he has. He has a really long throw. Ibrahim Sangare, I think, is a good player, but it's got to be jury's out. He's not played anywhere near enough minutes as I expected him to play at Nottingham Forest this season. He was brilliant in the Eredivisie. He was so good, and he was linked with moves to United, to Chelsea, to Liverpool at the time. He's gone to Nottingham Forest and he hasn't lived up to those big expectations he once had. Loic Bade, I think he's currently at Sevilla. He's going in flop. Again, I think he's another one of them players who didn't play for Forest, brought in and actually didn't make an appearance. Maybe he made the odd one, but I don't remember him. This guy is going in who? I feel like I know his name. I think his last name starts with a B. Is it Biancone, maybe? Wayne Hennessy going in flop. Again, he was brought in as just a backup keeper, really, wasn't he? That's all he was. Chris Wood is going in very good signing. He has to. Brought in, obviously on loan, I think, last season. Was he on loan last season? He was brought in on loan for 6 months, wasn't he, last season? Then he got made permanent, I think, this season. He scored 12, 13 Premier League goals. He's been quite good. To be fair, you're always going to get goals out of Chris Wood, isn't he? He's a very reliable Premier League striker. It wouldn't surprise me. I think he is set to leave Forest unless they trigger a buy option, maybe. Not a buy option, sorry, extend his contract, I meant to say. But he'd do any job at, a low-end Premier League club, I think. Again, don't know who this guy is. He's going to go in who as well. Emmanuel Dennis is gone into flop. Really, really wasn't good at Nottingham Forest. He didn't live up to those expectations and those... He didn't live up to the name. We knew he was good at Watford in the Premier League the season before. He came into Forest, didn't do all too well. Went on loan to Turkey and he's now back at Watford in the Championship again. Matt Turner for me is a flop. I really don't rate him. When they brought him in and made him their first choice keeper, straight away, that's not going to work. And straight away Nuno Had to replace him quickly with Sells coming in January to replace him very, very quickly. Giovanni Reina has got to go, injuries out. I think he's only on loan, isn't he, at Forest from Dortmund anyway? Hasn't done anything. Again, with this guy, doesn't even have a Forest shirt on. Don't know who that is. I'm sorry, Forest fans. Nuno Tavares goes into flop as well, I'm afraid. Again, on loan from Arsenal this season. It looks like Arsenal will try and cash in on him in the summer, maybe to a Liga club or back to Portugal. Andre Ayew is a flop as well. I always liked Andre Ayew at West Ham and Swansea in his past, but at Nottingham Forest he was brought in on a 6-month deal, I believe, and he didn't do anything. Willy Boly, you know what? Very good signing. I think Willy Bolly's been quite good when he's coming. He's very good in a back three. We saw that under Nuno at Wolves when he was there in the past, and he sort of integrated him back into the Forest starting 11 since he's come into Forest himself, Nuno. So Boly has obviously had more minutes playing under Nuno, I believe. Serge Aurier, flop. I completely forgot Forest had him once. Keylor Navas, at the time, was a very good signing at Nottingham Forest. I've put both him and Henderson in very good signing. Again, they both basically kept Forest in the division last year. Dean Henderson for the first half of the season, and then they replaced him with Keylor Navas, which, when Keylor Navas is available and he's willing to join your club, you've got to take the punt on him. From one keeper to another, Odyssey's Vlachodimos going into flop, brought in from Benfica. The only reason I know him is because he used to get Team of the Season cards on FIFA quite a lot back in the day. But yeah, I thought he was going to be a starting keeper. They chose Matt Turner over him, and he's never really recovered. Romeo Freuler, he's going to be a flop as well, and that might come back to bite me. I think he's just done really well. I think he's at Bologna, isn't he, in Italy now, who've just got into the Champions League. And finally, Anthony Elanga is going to go into Warra signing. I think he has been very, very good for Nottingham Forest. 15 million at the time, I was like, you could have got a bit more, and I think he's living up to, sort of the 20 to 25 million price tag. Anyway, that about wraps it up, and just looking at that list, there's already so many players in flop. There's 4 players in who. There's so many injuries out. There's only 6 players in Warra signing. That just shows you, out of 46 names, only 6 being in the top. Nottingham Forest have had a few stinkers. Anyway, that's it. Hope you all enjoyed. See you next time.